Good afternoon. It's like noon. I just wanted to show another deck that I use quite often for a particular reason, and that's because the suits in this deck don't have very many images on what a lot of people call the pip cards. The court cards have images, and there are some images, but there's not a lot going on there. And this is if if I was recommending to anyone starting in tarot, I would recommend this as one of the two decks you should buy. You should also buy, of course, because there's so much information about it, a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and I like that one. That one's okay. But my favorite, and they're pretty much the same, is the Albino Waite because of the clarity of the colors. It's still, Pamela Coleman Smith's artwork and all that. Still looks the same. It just pops out, looks clear. So I'd recommend, either this one or that one or this one, and this, and maybe an oracle deck of some sort. And to go with those, and to go with the Rider-Waite-Smith, I'd also recommend this book, even though I'm not sure this guy has quite the reputation he should have or could have. And he did make some decks, but his decks were a little off somehow. I don't know. I mean, there's something going on there. But the good part about this for me is there's a lot of history. Whether that's the correct history or not is questionable. But there's a lot of history, and then there's a lot about each card. He even goes into how he would do a reading. And it's got spreads, and it's got him doing several readings at the back of the book. So that's The Tarot, History, Symbolism, and Divination by Robert M. Place. There are other books that other people recommend, Holistic Tarot and the Wisdom, Tarot Wisdom or something like that. 78 Days of Tarot, something like that. Those are good as well, but that's just me giving a slight recommendation as a place if you're starting out. But this deck here is called the Ancient Tarot deck, and that's the side, and that's the other side. The entire tarot tradition in Italy contained in a single deck. I don't think that's quite true if you read and do some research into the history of tarot. I'm not sure that's a good statement to make, but they made it. Comes with the Lo Scarabeo. So it's in 5 or 6 languages, whatever it is. The little white book is very little. Only the first 12 pages are English. So it gets right to the point real quick. These are extra cards, the ones you always see advertising for Lo Scarabeo. And this across the top here are 3 rows of 7 cards, the way I like to lay them out, because it has a meaning to me if they're laid out like this. Otherwise it doesn't have that much meaning. But I like the pictures. Hopefully they all show up. I'm not sure about the bottom here where my finger is. The star card. I like these. They're simple. Let's see what the Fool card looks like compared to a standard tarot card. They're a little bit smaller, as you can see. Some of the standard card poking out there. If I can hold it squarely. Yeah. But it's close enough. And that's the Fool card. El Mato, which kind of to me would mean madman, crazy person. I find it odd that the numbers are in case they get reversed, I guess, so you can read the number. Let's try one here, the star card. You can see 1717, a Roman numeral in the middle. But if it was flipped upside down, it's still 1717, but the name's upside down. I found that interesting. That's what the backs look like. That's what the back looks like upside down. Pretty much the same unless you look really close. And I don't think I've ever picked out anything that would tell me it wasn't this way or that way. So I'll quickly bring in the reason I use this deck is for this. These are simple. There's some drawing and image there, but it's just the way they do tarot in a more traditional fashion. I wouldn't say this is like, the first tarot or some ancient tarot the way they have it on the bot. But it's a good way to practice reading those, I think. I could be wrong, but then again, I'm the person who favors these cards. The Marielle. I would use those more than anything else probably once I discovered them. This would have been the first deck I ever bought with my own money, and I would have seen this a lot growing up, or something like it. Not quite as colorful if I remember correctly. Maybe because it was dirty and old. I don't know. Here, that was the coins. Did I say what the previous one was? Sorry. Eesh. That's cups, obviously. Those are coins, or denarii, as they call it. And this is bastoni, which is wands, or batons, or battens, as some people say. I guess battens might be the right way to say it. These are swords. Notice that these in the court cards are not curved swords. Notice that they are here, like a scimitar. That should be a hint as to some of the history involved there. But they're calling it spade, which would kind of hints at why our today's playing cards have a suit called spade. But anyway, that's my quick show of the ancient Italian tarot. Not sure it should be called that, but and my recommendation for a book, if you're just starting out, there are bigger, better, maybe more, better received by the tarot community that I'm just getting to know than this book, but I enjoyed reading it. I like the history part, and you can kind of, come to your own conclusions. You got to start somewhere, and you might as well start with one book and then work your way out from there. So with that, I'll say peace.